Ladies and gentlemen, you've seen the highlights, you've heard the rumors, but now it's time to get the real scoop. We pull back the curtain on the world of sports entertainment and give you the unfiltered truth. From the biggest pay-per-views to the latest shocking headlines, you're locked in for the ultimate wrestling discussion. This is Between the Ropes, only on the Empty the Bench Network. Now, here's your host, Kristie Wilson.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Between the Ropes. I'm your host. My name is Kristie Wilson, and we got a lot of stuff that's occurring today. But ironically, I was going to start the show off with something different, but I'm going to get to the business at hand first before anything else. There is that ticker. That's right. You can follow this network, Empty the Bench. You can follow the show. You can follow me on Twitter, amongst other things. So let that scroll all the way down. And of course, you can, like I said, you can follow BTR on all social media platforms, including Twitter, when it decides not to be an effing bitch, at BTRETB. And of course, the big one, we're going to go to youtube.com/ETB network. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. And we are inching closer and closer and closer to 4,000 watch hours. So we're going to get to do some really cool, awesome stuff. But first, I was saying before I was going to start the show off with a totally different topic, but this broke this morning, so it requires this. Yep. This is the big news. Happened this morning. The New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods amongst the new batch of WWE releases that happened today. Now, more information is coming out about this as we go along, such as Kofi and Xavier being asked by TKO to restructure their contracts. They said no and asked for the release. They got it. Multiple other people being released. Jeff Cobb, who WWE fans were knowing as JC Mateo, part of the MFTs, stupidest faction of all time. And I think it was someone else. And by the way, mad props to Nico Caponelli for sending me this in the BTR chat. I mean, holy shit. This kind of blew. I knew the big day were the big names on the list of WWE releases, but everything else is definitely a surprise. Like I said, Jeff Cobb, formerly JC Mateo, I think he's going to go back probably to New Japan, maybe go to AEW or somewhere else. Major League Wrestling is starting to get a lot of attention, so I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up there. Another name, of course, was someone who had recently come in, Tonga Loa. This dude didn't even last a year. Thrown in the whole brand new Bloodline versus OG Bloodline thing. And then what do you do afterwards? You get involved in your faction gets involved in a feud with another faction in the Wyatt Six, and that all went straight to shit. So that was really honestly surprising. But the New Day, more info, like I said, is coming out with Kofi and Xavier. I should call him by his other ring name, Austin Creed. There's a lot of speculation where those two are probably going to go. AEW probably, but Kofi and Austin Creed are both on the older side. Both in their 30s, So that's one place they can go to. I don't know about anywhere else. It is also causing speculation to go around. Who could be next on the list of potential people released? I've heard a couple of names. already mentioned. One is LA Knight, the other is Bayley. I know people have been, are counting down the days until Bayley's WWE contract expires so she can probably go to AEW and team up with her real life bestie, Mercedes Moné, by the way. Yeah, I am wearing a shirt today. AEW hoodie because the air conditioning in my house is on and I'm a little cold. So this came in handy. But enough of that. Yeah. But just so much more information is coming out. And I think, like I said, LA Knight and Bayley are two people that have got wrestling fans worried because they could be next on the list of people that could be released. So there was that. And it's just crazy. You see, this is happening. Do I think more are going to happen? Yeah, probably. I mean, I think it's definitely a possibility. But this wasn't how I was expecting to start the show with news and more releases. But this came up, and I thought, I've got to put this in here. I've got to do it. I just got to do it. So this is the topic. Let me get the banner off. Now, this is the topic that I was going to start the show out with until this release news came out. That's right. SmackDown, which lately has been 3 hours, is going to go back to the 2-hour format starting in sometime in the summer. Now, there's a lot of programming stuff. This was by request of the USA Network, not TKO, because I think TKO and WWE would have kept it at 3 hours if they could. But SmackDown has never, this whole thing with SmackDown being 3 hours has never sat well with me. I can't go through an entire 3-hour episode of SmackDown without something happening. I have to go to the bathroom, or I'm finishing up making food or something like that. This 2 hours, it just makes sense. It just makes sense. But other than that, like I said, I'm honestly just glad that they're going to go back to 2 hours because it just, like I said, it makes more sense. You let Monday Night Raw be the 3-hour show on Netflix, and you let SmackDown be the 2-hour show on the USA Network. Now, they got to make up their minds. Do you keep it at 2 hours, or do you keep jerking everyone around by making it say, oh, we're going to have it 3 hours? No, we're going to do 2, 3. You know what I mean? So that's one thing that they really need to figure that out, because I think a lot of us wrestling fans are just getting so freaking irritated over this whole thing. So I just figured this was something that was important. Another big one. Yep. For those of you thinking Triple H is probably going to be gone, TKO is probably going to let him take the fall or going to can his ass. No, he just signed a new multi-year deal with WWE to stay chief content officer. Now, I think Triple H has got to, when it comes to the chief content officer, he's got to take some control here, because I feel like TKO is trying to yank as much creative control he has away from him, and he really needs to get it. He really needs to get it back, because if he doesn't, if TKO promised him that they were going to let him continue working on the creative process for WWE programming, you know what? That's what needs to be done. Say what you want about Triple H being, nothing but a puppet or something like that. This guy, he understands what it's like. He's been in the ring, and now he knows what goes on behind the scenes in terms of production, the writing process, that sort of thing. He gets it. And he was getting really badly jerked around by TKO, because I don't think they honestly knew what they were doing when it came to him. They didn't know that he has a very creative mind, and he knows what works for what works for certain wrestlers and what doesn't. I think I could see it in his face. I think just the way things have been going, he's just not been happy with it. But I think if TKO said, we're going to offer you a new deal, we'll let you stay chief content officer, try and take control, I think he'll definitely do that. But we'll see. I'm not holding out much hope on that one. Another one, this is the big one, and another topic ties into this a little bit. As you see on the screen, NXT Premium Live events are going to now air exclusively on the CW, starting with this summer's Great American Bash. We know that their deal with Peacock expired. They had NXT Stand and Deliver free on WWE's YouTube channel. I know people had complaints about it and everything like that, but I was able to watch it. I was able to enjoy it. But with the CW, I think it just makes sense because NXT is on the CW. I don't know if it's going to be in the actual CW network or on the CW app. If it's one or the other, I don't know. We'll eventually find out on that one. So that's definitely something to look forward to. If you have the CW in your area, like, check your local listings to see if it is available for you in your area. But yeah, Great American Bash, has been a lot of stuff that goes on with that event that happened, they've been having every year. It's a fun event, and definitely they better book this correctly. They better book it correctly with the appearance of certain people. Like, I could name probably possible main event for the Great American Bash is Tony D'Angelo putting that NXT championship up against the I'm going to call him by his current ring name because we don't know what his WWE ring name is going to be. Evil. New Japan Pro Wrestling superstar Evil. Because, if you saw on Tuesday, Evil handed D'Angelo a shirt with some writing. I think it's more along the lines of, dude, you're fucked. That title is going to be mine. That's part of it. I think that has something to do with it. But that's an idea for a main event. Ooh, excuse me. But now, this kind of ties into it, is ESPN is now the new streaming home for CW Sports. And, with NXT and everything, that they're going to take control. They're definitely going to be taking control on that one. So, but here it is. The CW Sports events will exclusively stream live within the ESPN app for all ESPN Unlimited plan subscribers. So that's one thing. NXT is definitely going to be a big part of it. And it's huge. I mean, the president of the CW network, Brian Schwartz, said joining forces with ESPN is a monumental next step in the evolution of CW sports. The CW now offers more than 800 hours of premium live sports per year. This agreement extends the reach of CW sports and enables us to capture audiences across the best of broadcast and the best of streaming, ensuring fans can access live CW sports wherever they are and on whatever device they prefer. This new partnership will allow us to connect seamlessly with our audiences everywhere, from football to basketball to motorsports, professional wrestling, bowling, bull riding, oh Lord, and much more to come as CW Sports continues to bring its exciting march forward. Yeah, this is basically, I think ESPN's trying to take over the world pretty much. Oh, jeez. Hi, Casper. Yeah, you're worried about Tama Tonga now? Yeah, me too. I'm worried about him as well. He could be another person released. So we'll see about all of that. But thank you for commenting, by the way, and hello to all 112 people watching me live right now. Hello. I hope you guys enjoy the show. So that's a big thing. I think ESPN's just simply trying to dominate in every way humanly possible. They're really trying to live up to their name, worldwide leader in sports. Yeah, that's one thing. Now, another thing that ended up coming up as I go here is, I had criticized TNA president Carlos Silva for the decision to pull TNA talent out of events where they would be facing AEW talent. Now, I have the quote right here. This is what he said on Busted Open Radio recently. He said, quote, it was super tough. And look, all these business decisions are tough. I don't like being called a little bitch on social any more than anyone does. Well, in this case, Mr. Silva, you did deserve to be called a little bitch. You did. You definitely did. But back to what I'm saying. But it's okay. You do take the goods with the bads, and you got to make some hard decisions. My job sometimes is to make hard decisions. And for the fans and for all of you, our locker room, we're going to make decisions that are good for TNA, and we got to protect TNA. As Kevin Plank and Under Armour used to say, you got to protect this house, and it's a real slogan. We've had some other folks come at us, and they've moved into our nights. They've made some decisions. They've tried to block us in arenas and venues. That stuff's real, and it's out there, and it's okay because everyone's got to make the decisions for their business. But we're also not just going to lie down and not make decisions that are good for our business. And unfortunately, sometimes those decisions are tough. We're very thoughtful about them, and we try to do the best to make good when we have to make those decisions. In the case of Nick and Leon, and it isn't Nick Nemeth and Leon Slater. By the way, Leon Slater, please, sir. Sending you love and support. Become the longest reigning X Division champion in TNA history. I'm hoping, praying for you. Now, back to this. But yeah, he basically addressed it. He took full responsibility for it, but it doesn't excuse him depriving fans of matchups that we wanted to see. Like Nick Nemeth, then known as Dolph Ziggler, versus MJF is a match that I think a lot of us wrestling fans would want to see. Like, we know about Max, and we know that Nick Nemeth is the established veteran. And who knows how that would have gone had they been given the opportunity. So, look, I like the fact Carlos Silva took responsibility. It doesn't mean he's in the clear in terms of all the bullshit that happened when all the stories started coming out about TNA talent getting removed from shows due to being booked in matches against AEW talent. It just doesn't excuse it at all. So, sorry, Carlos Silva, I got to do this to you. Fuck you. I still think the decision was shitty anyway. Now, here's one story that caught my attention. Now, we know WrestleMania 43 is going to be in Saudi Arabia in 2027. Obviously, and I hate bringing this conflict up, the conflict with Iran probably will be well over by then, but now, and by the way, I gotta address something Callum McClurgan, Nick Morgeson touched on Press Row this past Wednesday. I think I mentioned this. Clash of Champions is June 27th in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, guys. I just thought I'd let you know. But this ended up coming up as related to WrestleMania. It's going to be in Saudi Arabia next year. Here's one location that wants it in 2028. Nashville has reportedly submitted a bid of $3.5 million to host WrestleMania 44. Of course, I think the Titans' new Nissan Stadium is going to be looking amazing. It's according to what I found here from Brian Alvarez of the Wrestling Observer. By the way, Brian Alvarez, I think the same thing you like I do Sean Ross Sapp. What a doofus. What a doofus. IETB Lounge. Thoughts on SmackDown last night. Can't believe they're having a funeral for the gingerbread man next week. Oh, for God's sakes. Ugh. I'm not impressed by that either, Casper. Sorry. Not impressed. I just ain't impressed by that. Yeah, but back to Nashville. They want WrestleMania. $3.5 million plus tax incentives for WrestleMania in 2028. Do I think it's going to happen? Yeah, probably. And the thing about it is, it's understandable with this. I think as the Tennessee Titans are, I think, going to build a brand new version of Nissan Stadium. Yeah, here it is. I got the info. It says the team will move to a new dome stadium with the same. It will be done in 2027. So I can understand why Nashville would want to host it. You're going to get brand new, shiny, sparkling Nissan Stadium in Nashville, which is going to be a dome. And that makes it perfect for an event like WrestleMania. You got Nashville. There's some wrestlers that live in and around the Nashville area. Some do. All they have to do is just like drive from their house to the stadium and then drive home after the event's over. You know, I kind of like that idea. And I think this would be probably, I mean, I don't think Nashville's economy is hurting for any reason, but this would definitely be a boost to the economy of the city of Nashville to get more people to go. You know, they can check out the restaurants, they can check out all the venues for country music. If you're a country music fan, I've heard some really awesome places to go to for that. So if you're into it, then, you know, go for it. Absolutely go for it. I think Nashville, I'm going to hope and pray Nashville gets WrestleMania 44. And I have a suggestion for WrestleMania 45. And I think a friend of mine out there might actually like this. If the new Washington Commanders Stadium gets finished, Washington, D.C. should put in a bid for a WrestleMania too. That would be definitely something. But Nashville, definitely. WrestleMania, I hope they get it. I really do. Now, I've mentioned the new AEW Redemption pay-per-view. I've heard it's going to be a pay-per-view. One of the heavy favorite considered for this is Montreal, Canada. Now, you do have folks from Canada. You have Christian Cage. You have Adam Copeland. You know, got a good amount of talent in Canada. And there you go. Comment on someone's stream earlier, WrestleMania 43, Cody versus Punk 2027. We'll see. We'll see, Casper. We'll definitely see about that. But back to AEW. Montreal, definitely a possibility for, according to Fightful.com, where possibility is Montreal. Do I hope they get it? God, I hope so. But, I would have preferred this. Ooh, excuse me. Would have preferred this in an American city. And there's a lot of American cities that I think would be really happy to host this. Like, it could do it. Oh, maybe Tropicana Field if the Rays are on the road at some point. Maybe that sounds ridiculous coming from me, but still, I think just the whole thing. So there were comments on this if they feel like it should be in Toronto. Look, the thing is, I mean, there's like multiple cities. This could be Montreal's definitely considered a heavy favorite. Maybe Vancouver, Edmonton. I think they've done Calgary. Let's see. They've had Dynamite in Winnipeg. I would just go for like an American city, like maybe Portland. Oh, maybe Houston. That's an idea. But AEW, Tony Khan's going to make the decisions on what place is going to ultimately work for his promotion and where they hold their events and everything. So there's that. Another thing that ended up coming up, and I ended up seeing this on Twitter, was, speaking of AEW, is Anna Jay, who is going to have a TBS title match tonight on AEW Collision. Check it out. Check it out when it happens. She went on her Twitch channel with her boyfriend, the AEW National Champion, Jungle Jack Perry. And she clarified her contract status, because there's been so many stories are going out there saying their contract's going to expire. She's going to go to WWE, end up in NXT, this sort of thing. Oh, yeah, not a massive AEW fan, more of a WWE. Everyone has a Casper. Everyone has personal preference. I don't judge anybody. If you only watch exclusively WWE, that's fine. If you only watch AEW, that's fine too. I like to cover I like to try and cover as many bases as I can. That's just mainly me. I don't watch everything, but I try as hard as I can. But no, back to Anna Jay. Like I said, there's just so many reports out there over the past several months about the status of her contract with AEW. And she went on her Twitch stream. Like I said, her boyfriend, Jack Perry, the current AEW National Champion, was with her. She said the contract is going to expire. As far as I know, no word on whether she's negotiating a new contract. I mean, she is good. Don't get me wrong. Anna is good. She went to Japan, improved. She re-teamed up with her friend Ty Mello during the women's tag team title tournament. And even though they didn't make it, I think with her coming back tonight on Collision to go up against Willow Nightingale for that TBS title, I don't doubt this might be where maybe if I were Tony Khan, I would have a brand spanking new contract and a pen ready for her to sign on the dotted line and saying, hey, do you still want to be All Elite? And if she says yes, you've got her locked up for at least another couple of years or so. So I hope she stays, because I don't want to see her get lost in the shuffle in WWE, especially in NXT, where that women's division is just keeps getting better and better and better every time. Now, get back to WWE. This is really going to annoy the fearless leader of this network, Nick Morganson. Yep. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Yeah, that banner is not lying to you right there.
Was on crack!
Yeah. Is WWE on crack? Maybe WWE should do this.
Stay off the weed!
They're reportedly interested in working with Stephen A. Smith. Now, we know Stephen A. Smith has got his hands in the cookie jar and a lot of things. I will be honest about this. I hate this literally more than anything. I don't like it. Do I want Stephen A. Smith, someone who I find honestly annoying? Yes, if you watch Football Forecast, or if you have this past season, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. I got my Funko Pop version of CeeDee Lamb right here. There you go. Stephen A. Smith likes to make fun of the Cowboys because of fans such as myself. We can be nauseating, we can be annoying. Well, guess what? He's just as nauseating, he's just as annoying, and just the idea of him in any way, shape, or form as it pertains to working with WWE, I mean, shit, if it's revealed he's the one on the phone with, say, Shakeup Fatu, I'm going to be infuriated by that, because after the whole bullshit debacle we had with Pat McAfee during WrestleMania, I don't want to see any ESPN person, I don't care who they are, stay out of this. Nobody, as far as I'm concerned, I don't like the idea. I don't honestly think anybody wants it. I know I don't want it, and I'm still have a bad taste in my mouth from the whole McAfee experience during Mania. So, Stephen A. Smith, please, for the love of friggin' God. I don't think I got that in all the way.
Stay off the weed.
Yeah, stay off the weed, please. Or better yet,
Who was on crack?
don't do that either. Don't do that either, buddy. It's not a good idea. Stephen A. Smith, stay the fuck out of anything WWE related. I don't care how much money they honestly offer you. Stay out of it. Just stay the fuck out of it. Oh, Casper. But I do watch AEW sometimes, but might watch AEW a bit more if Motor City Machine Guns and New Day go there. I mentioned Motor City Machine Guns last week when the first batch of releases came out and Motor City Machine Guns' name were on the list. Someone put two and two together, and there's a show coming up in July. I think it's late July. Happens about, I think they said 6 days after the 90-day non-compete clause in Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin's contract expires. So they could show up in Detroit, which I think would be a really good idea. As for New Day, I've said AEW I think would be a good place for them. It is clearly up to Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods if they want to go there. That is clearly their decision. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. Motor City Machine Guns, I think, definitely would go to AEW. But back to this. So I'm going to get off the banner here. I want to say hi to the 125 people watching me live. I know there was 127 at one point. But say hi to everyone. Thank you for watching. Hope everyone's enjoying the show. So I'm going to get to something here. Now, this is a good thing. It happens. Is get to a really good part of the show. Oh, yeah. It's very surprising. This Wrestler of the Week is Lizzie Rain. Yes, the new gal. NXT made her debut there this past Tuesday. I had a heck of a match against Nikita Lyons, who I got to give a shout out to her. Nikita, she is definitely, her time in Evolved, it's been very helpful to her, because could Nikita have been a big star during NXT during the 2.0 era? Yeah, she probably would have if injuries had not derailed her. But I think, in all honesty, Nikita's gotten better, and she did a great job against Lizzie Rain. But Lizzie is definitely showed she's got star potential. Like, if you don't know anything about her, her uncle was a drummer for the band Iron Maiden. That's kind of, I think, where the rock and roll, like that. She's got a great look. She's got good skills in the ring. Her finisher, the Thunderstruck, named after the classic AC/DC song. Kind of her vision, kind of like a pop-up. I think it's kind of like a knee hitting the knee. It's kind of like a Shining Wizard. A lot of wrestlers do the Shining Wizard, but she decided to spice it up and turn it into a really cool finisher. Now, one thing I'm going to be completely honest about, and I'm going to do something here. Robert Stone, the NXT GM, did this, and that's my screenshot of him doing a Q&A, and he answered my question when I asked him which NXT debut was the most exciting for him, and he said Lizzie Rain. He said her entrance was top-notch. I agree. It was definitely top-notch. Definitely top-notch. But, she just exudes cool. She's just cool. And she's kind of got that, and I'm going to really date myself on this one because I am old. I'm now 50 years old, and I remember this song like it was yesterday, especially since I was listening to it on Sirius XM satellite radio, I think yesterday while driving around. She kind of gave Lizzie Rain look is kind of giving Joan Jett, kind of, if you listen to and watch the music video for I Love Rock and Roll, in case you don't have any idea who I'm talking about. But check it out. She's got a great theme. Her finisher is badass. She just has a great look. She's got star potential, and I really think if she plays her cards right and everything goes smoothly, I think you're going to be here maybe in the next 6 months to a year. You're going to hear new NXT Women's Champion Lizzie Rain. as a possibility. And I know people are going to go after me, but why are you naming her Wrestler of the Week? She only won one match. I see the potential. I definitely see the star potential in her. I see it. And I just think she is freaking awesome. She is so awesome. So Lizzie Rain, Wrestler of the Week. Ooh, excuse me. Now, before I get to the last segment of the show, I am going to kind of spoil something for some folks with Backlash coming up. I will be sorry. I'm going to spoil it for you a little bit. I'm going to preview that. And, oh, Lord, I'm just going to say this month, and we're in May. It's May 2nd. Let's just say I think this month is just going to get insane with all the pay-per-views and everything coming up. With Backlash being one, at AEW's Double or Nothing, oh, shit, watch out. Yeah. It's going to get nuts. It's going to get nuts. Okay. Last segment of the show. You know what it is. I'm probably going to get yelled at for this, but I can't help it. Zarya. Let me be clear about one thing. You came into WWE with a high level of hype. Everyone was like, oh my God, this chick is going to be like, wow. But instead, clearly, no. It's just, you come all the way from Australia, working the independent circuit, working the indie circuit in Australia, and then, you know, everything else. You got a brother who's in wrestling and all that. What did I get this time? I'm a bit disappointed and bummed about the Wyatt Six being released, but it is what it is at the end of the day, possibly staying together. Well, we'll see. Casper, I would highly recommend go to Indy Hartwell's Instagram or TikTok. There is a video. There is a video of her kind of helping Dexter Lumis get a new look, shave his beard, and cut his dreads. So, I mean, clearly they're still super cool. They're still great friends if they're doing that sort of thing. So check that out. And then, no, I don't think Zarya is going to get released. I'm just criticizing her because of her recent actions. Don't worry about it. I don't think I think Zarya's got. I'm going to give Zarya some props. I'm going to give her flowers on this. She is talented. She's very talented. I think because of Sol Ruka, and I'm not blaming Sol Ruka at all for this. I don't. I just feel as though these two got to work together to develop a great camaraderie. I thought it would be a good thing because maybe it would have been both of them would have possibly held gold or something like that. You know, it would have been great. But clearly, I get Zarya, you were mad at being overlooked. You were angry over Sol getting these opportunities like the Royal Rumble. But the fact that you speared Sol before an NXT women's title match against JC Jane, and then you start beating the holy living shit out of her. Let's face it. I get you're jealous, but Jesus Christ, you two could have figured things out. But guess what, Zarya? You're still in NXT because you're not ready for the main roster. Sol is ready for the main roster. That's why I'm going to make a bold take is Sol Ruka is probably going to be the one to dethrone Becky Lynch as Women's Intercontinental Champion and probably work her way up to the main event scene, to the world title scene. What are you going to do, Zarya? I would highly recommend shift your focus to people that you think you can win. I mean, shit. If you have to go up against Tatum Paxley for the NXT Women's Champion, NXT Women's North American title, or Lola Vice if she's still NXT Women's title Women's Champion by the time you get to her, you better, for your sake, you better get that whole the I hate Sol Ruka mentality out of your head here. Now looking forward to Sol Ruka. Yeah, she's going to be on Raw signing a contract. She's definitely going to be signing a contract. Now back to her former bestie, Zarya. Let's face it. Yes, I've said before, you're talented and everything else. I feel like there's more to you that you were forced to hold back, probably because, not everyone likes to be in the shadow of someone else who's clearly attracting attention and attracting people's interest, and people are saying great things about her while they seem to ignore you. I get that, but it didn't have to result in you beating the holy living fuck out of Sol Ruka before a title match. You should have done maybe the best way to do it, which you could have beaten up Sol after the fact. But no, didn't happen. And now you got to live with the fact that you beat up your best friend, and she's now on Raw while you're still on NXT. Because like I said, You're not ready for the main roster yet, girl. You're not ready. And I know it sounds like I'm being very tame with Zarya. Look, I like Zarya a lot, and I feel like she's got great potential. I don't like her current booking, and I kind of have not been a fan of the storylines. Yeah, that last woman standing match between her and Soul before Soul went to Raw was a really great match between them. I think they definitely were bringing out the best in each other. But like I said, if I were booking this or writing the storyline for these two, I would have had, say, Soul lost to JC Jane, and then I would have had Zarya beat her up. Then I would have done that. But no. That I'm going to pin the blame on that decision on Shawn Michaels. He shouldn't have done it that way, but that's just my personal opinion. Zarya, I like you a lot. I'm sorry I had to roast you in this segment, but you asked for it, and you got it. So quit with the jealous act. Get over it. Become a badass. If you have to feud with Tatum Paxley, feud with Lola Vice, feud with shit. You feud with Kalani Jordan. You feud with any woman you want if you want championship gold that fucking badly. It will be interesting what they do with Zarya on NXT Go and now go for it. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. I've mentioned some possible people she can work with, people she can feud with if she wanted to. That now that Soul's out of the picture, I think that would make sense to her to go up against some of the other top women in NXT, because I think Zarya can't hold her own. But I'm sorry, Zarya, that I had to roast you, but you asked for it. Like I said, you asked for it. Oh, man. Honestly, I have no issue roasting wrestlers that I despise, but you've heard it is a little hard for me to roast wrestlers that I actually like Zarya, for example. But if they do something that pisses me off, then you know what? What am I going to do about it? I got to say something. I feel like I should. Okay. Check out that tick. This is your ticker right here. You can follow this network. You can follow this show. You can follow me on social media, all that good stuff. And of course, you can follow this show, Between the Ropes, at BTRETB on social media platforms, including Twitter. Elon Musk, please fix your shit. I'm not kidding, because I really would like, this network would really like it if you didn't screw up all the time. That would help out. And of course, youtube.com/ETB network. We're getting closer to 4,000 watch hours and everything like that. So allow us to do more cool stuff, and we'll see what happens from here on out. But that is going to be it for me. I want to thank the 132 people watching me live. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate every one of you. Check me out tomorrow night on the ETB Lounge. Nick DiMartino is probably going to make me laugh a lot. So for everyone here, thank you for watching. Oh, what have I got here? Thank you, Casper. You too. You have a nice night and a nice rest of your weekend too. Thank you so much for watching. So appreciated. But I gotta take that comment down. Shit, I forgot. But again, thank you for watching. Thank you to the 133 people watching. I will see you folks next week with a brand new episode of Between the Ropes here on the ETB Network. Later!